Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Whatcha, Watchin, and Reading. Happy Friday. I'm going to talk about a few more titles this week that we've gotten over the past few months. With us being closed for browsing and you not able to physically come in and see what is on our shelf, we thought that this might be a good way to show you some of the titles that we have that you might be interested in. Here's a new picture book we've got that is perfect for this time of year. This is Vote for Our Future. It's by Margaret McNamara and illustrated by Micah Player. It tells the story of students of Staten Elementary School. They're learning about Election Day. Their school is a polling place, as many schools across the country are, so their teacher is educating them about voting, how it works, and the importance of voting during each election. The children learn that they're still too young to vote, so they encourage the people in their community to vote by having discussions with their family members and even having a bake sale. It's a must-read book for any little learner out there. Not only is it an educational story, but it also has vibrant illustrations that create an attention-grabbing story. If you're interested in telling your children a little bit about Election Day and telling them the importance of voting, this is a great title to get started on that conversation. For some young adult titles, I have one fiction title and one nonfiction title here. The first one on the left, we've got a fiction book by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is Clap When You Land. Elizabeth Acevedo is an Afro-Dominican poet and author. She uses a narrative poetry style in her books. She began performing poetry as a teenager and has crafted a unique style to her storytelling that has earned her awards like the National Book Award for Young People's Literature and the Carnegie Medal. She writes her novels in verse as if they are one long-form narrative poem. And so you are essentially reading the entire story as if it is a poem. This new work of hers is about two teenage girls who discover they are half-sisters after their father dies in a tragic plane crash. One lives in New York and the other in the Dominican Republic. The way Acevedo uses language and rhythm allows the characters to process their grief and confusion over the situation. It's an emotional and realistic story about young people coping with death. And on the right, this is a nonfiction title about poetry that I thought would go fitting with this fiction book that I chose. This is My Shouting, Shattered, Whispering Voice, a guide to writing poetry and speaking your truth by Patrice Fascione. If you're interested in writing poetry and expressing your thoughts and emotions in a different way, you should pick up this title to start with. It's perfect for teens that are looking for their own outlet for creative expression, to articulate what matters to you and your truth, whether you plan on sharing your words or not. Poetry can be therapeutic, and it's a powerful tool in your own self-discovery. Now for two adult titles, one fiction and one nonfiction. On the left here we have the fiction title. This is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, and it was recently chosen by Good Morning America for their book club to discuss. We, in our book club, Shades of Fiction, we've previously read The Mothers by Britt Bennett, which you might remember from a couple years ago. This title, The Vanishing Half, debuted at number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list and has remained in the rankings ever since. The story is about twin sisters, Stella and Desiree, who were inseparable as children but have since grown distant. They grew up in the Jim Crow South and experienced trauma from a young age. When they're 16, they run away, and a few months later, Stella disappears without a trace. They go on living their lives, getting married and starting families completely separate from each other, not knowing where the other is. Years later, Desiree's daughter is away at college when she sees someone that looks exactly like her mother, allowing the twins to finally reunite. The story is told in alternate perspectives and tells the story both separate and together of the twins spanning from the 1950s to 1990s. If you like stories about characters set in the real world that focuses on their emotional journey, this is the book for you. And on the right over here, this is Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. She previously has won the Pulitzer Prize for The Warmth of Other Suns, which is her work about America's Great Migration. Oprah has chosen Cast for her book club to discuss. Isabel Wilkerson's nonfiction writing is some of the best modern American history writing that is out there. This new book is once again taking a look at American history. This time she's examining the unspoken caste system that has been in place historically, how it has shaped in America, and how we are still defined by our hierarchy of dividing humans. She also offers ways to progress and make changes so that we can one day move beyond the artificial separations that divide us. So this is more than just kind of a history about it. She's also offering her perspective and knowledge of her study of everything that she's done in ways that we can possibly make some changes. A couple DVDs that we have that we've recently gotten. The first one on the right, this is The High Note, starring Tracee Ellis Ross and Dakota Johnson. Tracee Ellis Ross plays Grace Davis, a superstar singer with a massive ego and a lot of talent to back it up. Dakota Johnson is Maggie, her personal assistant that wants nothing more than to start producing music. After Grace's manager comes to her with a new idea that would alter her career completely, Maggie and Grace team up and make a plan to change both of their lives. This is a fun and easy movie. If you're looking for a good comfort film with some star talent, this might be the one for you to just sit back and watch a movie for a few hours. And on the right over here, this is The King of Staten Island. This is a new Judd Apatow movie starring Saturday Night Live's Pete Davidson in the lead role. Judd Apatow has previously made movies like Knocked Up and For the 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's a coming-of-age dramedy, came out this year. Davidson plays a 20-something whose life hasn't really gone anywhere yet. He has dreams of becoming a tattoo artist that isn't pursuing any of that, and instead is spending his days living with his widowed mother and hanging out with his friends and secret girlfriend. When his mom starts dating again, he must come to terms with his own grief and start moving forward with his life. It's a funny and heartwarming story that also manages to be brutally honest. It's some of Pete Davidson's best work that he's done, and also some people are saying that it's one of Judd Apatow's best films. A couple horror titles that we have that are new. This is I See You on the left. Tells the story of a small-town detective who's dealing with strange occurrences as he attempts to investigate the disappearance of a 12-year-old boy while balancing his rocky marriage and home life. His relationship is strained and the investigation only worsens things. This family drama gets seriously spooky with plot twists you won't expect coming. That is essentially the big driving force behind this movie. If you're interested in watching something that keeps you guessing with some plot twists that you will not expect, this movie is one you might want to check out. And on the right over here, this is Elizabeth Moss starring in The Invisible Man. She plays Cecilia Cass, who is trapped in a violent and controlling relationship with a scientist until she manages to escape one night and disappears into hiding. Her ex commits suicide and unexpectedly leaves her a sizable fortune. She suspects the whole thing is a hoax and doesn't believe it. And then strange things start happening that she can't explain. She starts losing her sanity as she becomes convinced that her ex is after her, even if no one can see him. It's a great psychological thriller that will get in your head and make you question what's real or not. Those are a few of the titles I wanted to mention this week. As always, if you have any titles that you're looking for, please let us know. You can get in touch with us. We are here Monday through Friday and also opening on Saturday starting this week, back to our normal hours. As I mentioned at the beginning, we aren't quite open yet for browsing, but if you are interested in checking anything out, you can always access our catalog. It's available through our website, bellwoodlibrary.org. You can just click on the link that says catalog, and you can, of course, always give us a call and ask us directly for any titles that you're interested in. Even if you're just looking for a book and you only know the author, we can help you out and find what titles you might have missed that they released. Thanks for joining us this week. See you next week with some new titles.